This is getting crazy for the Oklahoma City Thunder as they're somewhat linked to two other guys that they could potentially be signing to that last roster spot on the team. And yes, we're talking about Dennis Smith Jr. and Markelle Fultz. And before you get into it, I don't want to hear this. Bryson, we have a ton of guards already. Why would we want more guards? Why? Blah, 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 blah. This makes no sense. Go get another big man. We filled our big man needs, all right? We don't necessarily need another one. It would be nice to get one. That's why the trade deadline is there. I don't think there's really any notable guys that we could sign right now at the big man position at 4 or 5, but there are a ton of guards, and it doesn't hurt to go ahead and have all these guys to help out at the guard position, to help run another unit, and just be out there in case someone does get injured. God forbid that happens. It's just nice to go ahead and have these backups here. And Dennis Smith Jr. and Markelle Fultz would be great backups for running the second unit in case someone gets hurt, or if they're just having a resurgence year right there and they're just playing out of their mind. Before you get all this, though, I want to take a moment and recognize, though, that, just under 10% of you guys have that bell notification turned on. If you guys find yourself coming back on a regular basis, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And if you don't want to miss a single minute of the action here at Thunder Digest, go ahead, hit that bell notification button down below. With that out of the way, we can go ahead, get into the video and topic at hand here. Talking about Dennis Smith Jr. and Markelle Fultz, and really, between those two, if we really want to go after a guard and use this last roster space instead of just having it open during the regular season, so we can go out there and get someone on this team to fill in that last spot in a trade, why we can go ahead and go get one of those guys in these two options here. And who is the better option? All right, we're going to break that all down here, and I think it kind of talks about what both those guys really bring to the table in this article I found by Nick Crane. All right, it's one of these things where I feel like it kind of separates these two guys, what really makes them so much different from each other, even though their game and their stats are very similar. The first piece of information that we have is in this article by Nick Crane talking about Dennis Smith Jr. Following a tremendous season with the Brooklyn Nets last season, Dennis Smith Jr. has proven he's still capable of impacting winning at the NBA level. The former top 10 pick is almost 27 years old and has plenty of experience under his belt. Again, teams can never have too many reserves with the ability to facilitate and run a bench unit, which is exactly what he can do. Furthermore, Smith Jr. is a phenomenal point of attack defender who would only make the Thunder's already great backcourt defense even better. Sorry, words are hard there a little bit to talk sometimes. Now going into Markelle Fultz here, the other guy that Nick Crane talked about, and there were some other people that I talked about as well that we could talk about in a live stream next Thursday, talking about who should be this last guy the Thunder go get in free agency with this last roster spot. We can definitely talk about that in the live stream. Now with Markelle Fultz. This is what he had to say. Former number 1 overall pick Markelle Fultz just recently turned 26 and is a free agent after 5 seasons with the Orlando Magic. Although OKC is already loaded in the backcourt, bringing in a veteran 6'4" combo guard with facilitating upside and poise could be valuable. Fultz is not a great shooter from beyond the arc and would likely cost more than most free agents on the market from a financial standpoint, but could actually move the needle for the Thunder off the bench. So I want that to kind of stick there for you a little bit right there. Move the needle off the bench. It seems to me that, like Nick Crane is saying, he would instantly find his way into the rotation if he was signed to the team. I don't want to say that for Markelle Fultz, and I don't think it is the case with Dennis Smith Jr. either. I think both of those guys have a ton to prove if they want to find themselves in a rotation in OKC, because we are loaded with some backcourt talent. We truly are. The only reason I'm kind of proposing this right now, signing either of them, would just to give us that last roster spot filled so we don't have to worry about that and think like, what are we going to do? Stop with this extra thinking going on right now and actually having some depth in case someone gets injured either in the starting unit at the guard position or off the bench as well. Because we know Alex Caruso at points, he is fragile if he is playing an extended amount of minutes, such as 28 plus. He isn't the healthiest when it comes to those regards. It's just nice to have some depth in case someone does go down with injury and we need that extra guard. And just being realistic here, our G League won't really cut it. We got rid of our one guard in Lindy Waters III, who would have been there backing up, but we had to trade him. He just wasn't getting rotation minutes, and we ended up getting A.J. Mitchell out of him. And I don't think Dylan Jones or A.J. Mitchell are already better than Markelle Fultz or Dennis Smith Jr. I would like to see rotation minutes from them at some point, but right now is not that time. And it'd be nice to have a guy like Dennis Smith Jr. or Markelle Fultz to kind of mentor A.J. Mitchell or Dillon Jones as well. It'd be kind of nice to watch that happen. Teach them how to be a little bit more physical at the NBA level and how to draw these tough fouls and finish through this tough contact. I think it'd be great for them. Now, going into the player side, which is what we're really looking at here when you're thinking about, okay, if they want rotation minutes, who really is the better player? And I don't think it's like clear cut when you look at the stats. Here's Dennis Smith Jr.'s stats. 6.6 points per game last season, 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Not even close to half a block a game, but he did get a steal a game with less than 2 turnovers, 2 fouls a game, 43% from the field, and not the greatest three-point shooting, 29% from the field, almost 30. So that's the downside with him. He's not the best three-point shooter. When you're looking at it, though, he's 6'2", 26 years old. They're both around the same age. Dennis Smith Jr. is almost a year older than Markelle Fultz, but he shoots 34% on corner threes. 87% of his threes are assisted, and 32% of all of his shots are three-pointers. He doesn't really take a lot of three-pointers, which, if you know OKC, we like to drive in an attack either at the mid-range or down low in the paint and draw fouls. I think Dennis Smith Jr. does that very well, which would easily fit into what we're trying to do here in OKC. However, you could say the same thing for Markelle Fultz when you look at his stats. He almost averaged 8 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Blocks per game are pretty much the same. Steal per game, turnovers per game are the same. And he averaged less fouls per game than Dennis Smith Jr. He shot 47% from the field and 22% from behind the three-point line. So that's where he really draws back, is his three-point shooting. It is, I'm going to be honest, it's horrible. I think I'd rather have Josh Giddey take a three-pointer than Markelle Fultz, and that's saying something. He's 6'4", 26 years old, like we mentioned. 42% of his twos are assisted. His defensive box plus minus 1.2 and a VORP of 0.1. I don't care about the advanced statistics. As you guys know, I don't care what VORP is. I don't care what it is either. Plus minus, your defensive plus minus, I will look at that a little bit. Everything else for advanced statistics like that, I'm out on. Get rid of them. But when you're looking here, I would rather have Dennis Smith Jr. Just being honest, I think he would be a better mentor to our young guys like Dillon Jones and A.J. Mitchell, and even Cason Wallace as well, if we want someone to mentor him a little bit as well, turn him into a better defender, along with someone that is better at driving and finishing through contact, like we love to do here in OKC, because I'm going to go back to the stats. You see Markelle Fultz here. This is the big thing that's determining this for me. When you're looking at these stats, look at the field goal percentage and three-point percentage. Markelle Fultz at 47% from the field, 22% from behind the three-point line. Then you go to Dennis Smith Jr. Yes, it's a decrease at the field at 43%, but he takes more three-pointers, which we do like to shoot the three when we're open, and I would like to I could rely on Dennis Smith Jr. to hit an open three as well. Brooklyn, they just had a lot going on. I don't know what's going on there. But that's what really stands out to me is the three-point shot. Yes, it's still not great, just right under 30% right there for Dennis Smith Jr., but that is what's really standing out to me right there, is the three-point shot. If Markelle Fultz shot 27% from behind the three-point line, I might rather have Markelle Fultz. But Dennis Smith Jr. is the better shooter, and I feel like he would be a better mentor for our young guards like Cason Wallace, Dillon Jones, and A.J. Mitchell. I feel like they'd be great mentors for them down the line to actually develop them into key pieces in the future. And then secondly, the contract. We know Markelle Fultz is going to ask for more because he was a former number 1 overall pick, and he thinks he deserves like $6 to $8 million at the NBA level. Dennis Smith Jr., he's going to be way cheaper than that. So if we're going to go after a veteran guard, especially one of these two guys, Dennis Smith Jr. to me is the clear-cut choice for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I love him as well. I think he's a great player. When he was on the Mavericks as well, I don't like the Dallas Mavericks at all, but I would always watch Mavs games because of him. He is an electric player that I think would fit in great with Oklahoma City as a mentor and as a player off the bench if we need him, along with contract value-wise. Just sign him to a one-year deal. That's all we got to do. That's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys personally think. Who's the better option, Dennis Smith Jr. or Markelle Fultz? Who would you rather us sign with this last roster space? I'll see you guys in the next video.